It has a specific end period. A periodic estate is one that automatically renews, and a tenancy at sufferance is one where the tenant is not moving out. The lease ended. It ended today. Yeah, I was supposed to leave. I didn't leave. It's a holdover. That's called a holdover. And that is the lease that has the least amount of rights to it. That's what you should remember, least amount of rights.
The tentative.
That's the tenancy at sufferance or holdover. If a tenant makes improvements to a property, these improvements are generally fixtures and become the landlord's. Okay? Does the landlord have to pay for them? No. Absent an agreement, no. If there's a prior agreement, that's different. Okay? Constructive eviction is the action or the inaction by a landlord. I want you to remember that. Not by the tenant, not by the lender, not by a licensee. It is by the landlord. And constructive eviction is when something happens and the apartment becomes uninhabitable, and the landlord either does or does not do something to correct it, okay? The tenant is therefore constructively evicted, but it's always on the behalf of the landlord. The landlord, okay? That's where it's commonly misunderstood. They think it's the tenant. The tenant didn't do anything. The landlord can do something or not do something. It's okay. There's no illegality of it, okay? I know you've seen questions like the landlord turns off the heat. Can't turn off the heat, okay? That's a criminal act. But if the boiler broke and it of no fault of his own, and it's in January and it's 0 degrees and the tenants have a baby, they could just move and not pay, right? That's constructive eviction. Okay. Now, the two main documents in a mortgage are the mortgage and the note. Remember that. The mortgage creates the lien, and the note creates personal liability. The mortgage creates the lien. So theoretically, if I didn't sign the bond, it's also called a bond. If I don't sign it, that means they can't come after me. I say, take the house. That's all they can do. Why can they take the house? Because of the mortgage. Why could they come after me? Because of the note. Okay? You have to understand the mechanisms that are in play. Now, a licensee must indicate their business relationship in the lease, okay? That's the CIS statement, you know that. And the financing instrument is the note on the mortgage. The financing instrument is the note on the mortgage. What assists the lender if the borrower defaults? What assists the lender if the borrower defaults? Which feature? There's a clause. That's called the acceleration clause, right? Like in a car, you accelerate. You speed up the whole load. The whole thing is due. The term deed in lieu. Remember that? Deed in lieu. A deed in lieu of foreclosure. I'm not paying the bank anymore. I tell the bank, just take the house, I'll sign it of my own free will, and you forgive me of the loan. You don't come after me for the money. I'll just sign it over to you. And this way, you save on the legal costs and all the backup clerical work and fees and time and energy.
Is that a short sale?
That is a deed in lieu. I gave you the deed, and that's it. You forgive me of the note. The short sale is when the property value is lower than the mortgage amount. I owe $500. The house is worth $3. Short sale. Okay? And we negotiate. Call the bank. The house is not worth it anymore. Give me a year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever it is. The bank agrees. We find the broker. We put it on the market. and we negotiate, okay? Now, a fully amortized mortgage makes regular payments applied first to what? Interest, okay? Interest. When the interest of a note shifts, today it's 6%, in the year it's 6.5%, and the year after that it's 6.25%. Yes, it's an ARM. It's an adjustable rate mortgage, an ARM. Yes, it's adjustable. Very good. If it's fixed, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay. Mortgage lending points are a form of prepaid interest. Mortgage lending points are a form of prepaid interest. The traditional way of getting a mortgage, guy goes to the bank, gets a mortgage, okay, and he gives the bank a mortgage, okay. This is called a conventional mortgage. Conventional, between a borrower and the mortgagee. The mortgagee and the mortgagor. Okay, the mortgagor is the borrower, the mortgagee is the bank, between two people. If it's an FHA, it's not a conventional. If it's a VA, not a conventional. Okay, if it's an SBA, which is a small business admin loan, not a conventional loan. Okay. What are the advantages of getting an FHA loan? Low down payment. What is the penalty for potential borrowers using an FHA or a VA loan if the appraisal comes in low? None. Okay, remember that. There's no penalty. What's the penalty on a residential mortgage? Prepayment penalty. None. Remember that. Jersey, it's illegal. Not true on commercial, but yes on Jersey. Remember the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency. That offers favorable terms to people who are buying property, living in the property in urban areas. Urban, okay? Up from 1 to 4 family. So you could buy a 4-family house, live in it, and go through this agency and get great terms at a great interest rate, okay? So long as you live.
Can you do that? New Jersey what?
Yeah, it's called the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency. It's targeted to urban areas, not rural, urban. When you have a mortgage and you're paying, but the mortgage balance is going up while you're paying, that's called negative amortization. I'm paying it, but the mortgage keeps going up. That means I'm not paying enough into it, okay? The interest is far greater than my payment. That's called negative amortization. It was 300, and in 6 months it's 320, okay? But I've been paying it. Negative amortization. Purchase money mortgage, construction loans, okay? These are forms of mortgages. But the form of a second mortgage, we call them second, is a home equity mortgage. Home equity. Bridge loans are commonly used by homeowners who are selling one home to buy another. Well, the bridge loan, it bridges it from one house to the other. When you have mortgage amounts higher than $417,000, when you have mortgage amounts more than $978,000 in certain areas, these are called what? They're called jumbo loans. They change from area to area, depending on the economics and value of property. Okay, it's called jumbo loans. When you get a pre-approval on a loan, that's in the beginning. At the end, towards the end of the process, that's called a mortgage commitment. Mortgage commitment means they look at the appraisal, they agree. They agree with the appraiser, they agree with the appraisal. They looked at the tax returns, they agree. Everything looks good, they're in order. They looked at your income, they agree. They're gonna fund the money, they're giving you the money. That's what it means, okay? Mortgage commitment. So, qualifying ratios are used by lenders to determine a required down payment. Qualifying ratios are used by lenders to determine the required down payments. Remember that. The location of a property has the most profound effect on its value. The term is situs, S-I-T-U-S, location, remember? That's situs, okay? And the present worth of future benefits arising from the ownership of real estate is the definition of value. The present value, or the present worth of future benefits is called value. The maximum value of property tends to be set by the cost of purchasing another property. That's called substitution. Why should I buy your house when I can buy another one for less? Why should I buy your house when it cost me $300,000 to build it? You want to charge me $400,000. That's called substitution. Okay? An at-arm's length transaction happens when we're strangers. You have to be strangers. It can't happen in family. If you sell your house to your brother, your sister, that's not at arm's length. Okay? Lawyers need to be represented on each, be representing on each side. Brokers need to be present. Okay? Now, the most widely used approach in valuing property by you guys will be the sales comparison approach. Sales comparison, where you take a property, you identify the key characteristics of that property, and you then look at all the property that's sold within a year. Okay? Within a year. And then you derive a value based on those numbers, pluses and minuses, of course. Okay, you're going to learn how to do that. Pluses and minuses.
Is this to do with CMA?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sales comparison approach. It is the same effect, CMA, correct. I'm glad you said that. In external obsolescence, we talked a little about functional obsolescence, external obsolescence, but it's caused by factors that are not subject to the property, right? So, are they usually curable or incurable?
Incurable.
Why? They're not on our property. Correct. How are you going to correct the fact that there's a firehouse and 2 houses down? Mm-hmm. You can't, right? There's nothing you can do. Very little, okay? Now, this is what you use on a tax appeal. You say, there's a firehouse right across the street, devaluing it. Tax assessor says my house is worth $550. No way. Okay? This is a legitimate argument, which is very difficult to be defeated because it's accepted amongst brokers, amongst appraisers, and should be by the attorneys who are representing the municipality. Okay? A license or certificate is required for a real estate appraisal. Absolutely. You don't need to know how many hours. Nobody's going to ask you that. You need to know that you need to be licensed. Okay?
For appraiser, that was?
Yeah, appraiser. Yeah, residential and commercial. Should you know it's more time for commercial? Probably, but you already know that. Do you have to know it's 250 hours? No. All right.